So in this video, we're going to continue where we left off with like a thorough explanation of shot calling. Shot calling, the purpose of shot calling is several things, right? It's because there is a period in the game between hits when you do have time to do something called shot calling. And because you have the time to do this thing called shot calling, actually it's useful for you to take that time and use it, right? Or if you don't want to use it, you choose not to use it instead of I don't see it and then I don't use it. Does that make sense? So in essence, there is a period in time in badminton where you have this ability to do something called shot calling. The essence of shot calling is when I hit the shuttle, before my opponent hits it, I have the time to do whatever I want, right? I can switch places with my partner. I can switch my position in terms of I can switch from front and back to side. I can implement more complex calls such as a turn on the field. I could implement, a conversation type of call where I talk actively to my partner either through words and warn them and tell them what I'm going to do, what I'm not going to do, or through my actions. I go to one side, he stays put, so I move back, knowing that he wants to do side to side. And I tried to implement this call, he rejected, and so I returned to my current position. So in this video, I'm going to cover the basics of shot calling. Then I'm going to introduce several very basic, very fundamental types of calls that are very important for you to implement shot calling into your play, right? Because if you don't know how to do this, I see a lot of players, what they do is they stand still. The shuttle comes, they stand still. You hit the shuttle back, they stand still. They don't do any shot calling, and it's not that it's wrong to play that way, because every single team has a method. But it is ignorant if you don't know what shot calling is. When you know what shot calling is, you can choose whether you are going to use it or when you are not going to use it. And it does not matter whether you use it or not as so much as it matters that you go and know what it is. Okay, so I'm going to explain again from the very top. Complete explanation of shot calling. The shuttle comes. When the shuttle comes, you have to go there, right? You don't have any choice. You can choose to take it forehand, backhand. You can choose how high you take it. You can choose to take it above your head. You can choose to let it drop. You can choose the type of shot you make, right? You can choose to play a smash. You can choose to play a clear. That is your decision. Now, there are ways for you to let your partner know what you are going to do. You can shout, typically, that is signaling to your partner that you smash. You can, there's different types of vocalizations you can use to signal things. Some people use them, some people don't know them, some people don't. Anyways, that is not what we're talking about. We're not talking about the hitting phase because this is not a video about the hitting phase. There's a whole other video about the hitting phase, about when I hit the shot, what should I do? How should I move after I hit the shot? Because, okay, I'll explain it briefly. When you hit the shot, that is when your setting starts, essentially, right? Because that's when, until the opponent hits the shot, you have the opportunity to do several things, and I'm going to cover the types of shot calling you can do. When you hit the shot, whether it's a clear, whatever it is, especially a clear, right? Not only a clear though, because there are quick shot calling, right? If you hit a shot smash, you can rush in and block, right? So there's a whole bunch of things you can do. I'm just gonna introduce several ones because I think I'm taking too long. The first type of shot calling is an attacking shot calling. Okay, it's when you make the decision to attack. And the thing with shot calling is, because you have two people, you have two types of shot calling, right? Either you have a dominant shot caller and a submissive response, or you have a submissive shot caller who doesn't do anything, and so the dominant one typically takes control, right? So if I'm the dominant shot caller, I'm gonna go there, and if my partner even tries to do anything, I will not respond to him. I will just focus on myself. That is the dominant shot calling. The submissive, their response to the shot calling must be to, they are submissive, right? So if you attack, they have to pull back, right? If I'm gonna go and I'm at the front and I pull all the way back, they're submissive. They cannot do anything except to rush forward. And this is, split second decision when they try to be aggressive as well, but they see that you are dominant more, so they're gonna back off. This is a split second decision. This is split second, the shot calling. This is a conversation. This is the highest level of shot calling. It's a conversation. You basically, before they hit the shot, you converse. You say, I'm gonna do this. You don't want to, you do this. Okay? And then you have to know that shot calling even more, it's even more for the non-hitter. Right? The active hitter, they have to go to the shuttle. They have to go travel to the shuttle and hit it. You, as the non-active hitter, you can go wherever you want. And that is also, you have more shot calling. You have more room for doing different types of things like that. Okay, because he's hitting the shuttle or she is hitting the shuttle, you are not. You can travel anywhere. So you have an extra, time from when they hit. If you see that your partner is hitting the shuttle, you have from when the opponent hits the shuttle, you have from when you hit the shuttle up until, when your partner hits the shuttle, and then onwards to when the opponent hits the shuttle again. So I don't know if that makes sense. It's kind of confusing. So that's kind of another thing. There's you have to think about on shuttle play versus off shuttle play. You have to focus on shuttle shot making versus off shuttle shot making. Alright, so we talked about the dominant and the submissive. Alright, I like to think of it is, you have the horse and the general. Alright, sometimes at a specific point in time, one person is the horse, one person is the general, so go boom. And you focus on that. The horse is him, I'm the general. That is what it is. And how you distinguish is, as I said, you have to feel. Right? I go and I try to be the general, but he cuts in ahead of me. I have to respond. Okay, so it's a little bit of, especially if you're talking with your partner, you're used to playing with them. You're gonna tell when they want to do something. You have to just let go. Right? You have to let them go there, and you have to pull back. Okay, so next is of course, next is what do I think? Yeah. So next is this equal shot calling. Okay. The equal shot calling is when it's not one person is initiating it. It's when both people know what they want. Okay, so one person obviously is most of the time there has to be someone who does things first. But the equal type of shot calling means he kind of makes it and I kind of do it the same. Alright, so they do this, I kind of do this, and I follow. Alright, so it's not necessarily a dominance thing, it's more of a I'm following them. Alright, the next couple of things that I'm going to talk about specific types. So there's a bunch of specific types of shot calling, okay? So there's specifically let me see if I can break this down. The first type of shot calling is an individual shot calling. Okay? So you decide by yourself. It's like in singles, right? You decide I'm gonna go there. And your partner, you don't care what your partner does. Okay, that's our first type of shot calling. It's a singles type shot calling. You are very dominant, so you don't care what your partner does, you rush. The second type of shot calling is the reverse. It's the submissive. You don't care what your partner does, whatever they do, you're gonna react to it. Okay, no matter what they do, if it's bad, if it's good, you're gonna react to it because you don't want to get in their way. The last type is a middle ground. Okay, they kind of attack, you kind of defend, you kind of control each other. All right. And there's actually a very deep amount of types of different things you can do. Like it's so deep that it's almost like philosophy, right? Um, like it's almost like philosophy, as in I'm just gonna do this, I can do that, I can rush and retreat, I can push and then hit and then pull back, and then I can confuse, I can so many things, right? But you have to start from the basics and build it up, and you start to come up with all these things that you can do. All right, you think that beginners, wow, beginners are so stupid, right? They don't know what to do. Actually, it's a lot of the advanced players. They don't know what they're doing because they go out and they're like, oh, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to stand there. Whereas you see beginners, a lot of times they move around the court, so all that prediction stuff also is something, right? It's not the prediction stuff also plays into shot calling. Right? Shot calling in terms of prediction, the prediction is reading the play, right? You're not gonna. I mean, that's what you have to decide as a team, right? So if one person goes to the front to rush the net, and they're from the back court and they're gonna hit a smash, or you have to respond and cover up your partner. Um, but that doesn't mean that you're supposed to, you know, play something bad. Right? Doesn't mean you're supposed to play something that is just because your partner seems to have things convoluted doesn't mean you shouldn't follow them sometimes, and doesn't mean you're supposed to take the dominant position all the time because you're playing as a team, right? So there's no I'm gonna play the grass. He doesn't know what he's doing, so that doesn't quite work. So I guess what I'm trying to do is just kind of explain a bunch of the different types of shot calling that you can implement in your game. And I'm not able to cover all of them because I haven't thought about them thoroughly. On the court, I kind of just do it, which is weird because I know how to do it. I know how to play and make calls naturally. But a lot of people don't. And I think the worst thing is when during that shot calling phase, they just stand there. And they're wasting like a huge opportunity to do something else and make some play, right? So if you really want me to tell you about all the shot calling things that I know, I don't want to do this because I have secrets, but but if you want me to tell you like all the types of different shot calling, the first is pull back to side to side. Okay, that's the first one. The first one, pull back to side, is basically you play a drop, and you retrieve the drop, and you retrieve it high, you pull back to side. Okay. There's another one. Okay. They play a drop, you clear, you pull back to 45 degrees. All right, 45. One person is at the front, one person is behind. 45 degrees. This is if you clear to one side. And also when you clear to that one side, the front person has to be ready to block. Because the back person is not going to be there. So that's second defensive measure. The third one is the clear. You just hit it clear. You hit it clear near the center, and you adopt a deep front and back type of structure before they hit. So this is the reason you do this is because the front person is close to the front. You don't want the front person to kind of get hit. So you go deep. So the front person and the back person are almost right beside each other. The reason you want to do this is because if they smash too steeply, the back person can't get it. So the front person has to get that steep shot and kind of be there, because the front, the back, they're there. They have to be really deep. They have to be really close to each other. Okay, so because a smash is gonna have a range of steepness, but the most important thing is that even though it's gonna have a range of steepness, they're gonna be close, right? Okay. Next type of thing is obviously there's these moving calls, moving moves where you don't stop moving even after they hit the shot. You don't stop. So there's termination calls. There's calls that you terminate once the shuttle is hit. You stop. It's very defensive. It's like that. There's also non-terminating. Alright, so even when they're doing all this stupid stuff, they're gonna hit the shuttle, you don't stop. You keep moving. And the reason you do this is because it really sets out a aggressive kind of vibe to it. Because when you're still moving, they don't know exactly what's happening. Right? They can't focus. So first of all, you're gonna be at a position that is different from what they thought you would be at because they thought you would stop. That's confusion. Second of all, the range of shots that you're gonna have is gonna be out of their expectations. So this is the third type of calling, which is confusion, right? The fourth type of calling, or whatever I think count, is to forward and back. All right, it's a saying no. You are partners and you're saying no. Okay, so this happens a lot when you kind of you're the off shuttle person and you kind of move forward because you're going for the drop, and then kind of if they hit it and it clear, so you're gonna go back. This is a reject. And the rejection has to be spoken out by the dominant player. Sometimes the dominant player who is actually becoming submissive does it himself because they judge that it's wrong. right? This is a righting the wrong. This is a fixation call shot calling, right? You fix the shot. You fix the shot. It happens kind of bad, so you fix it. You go in a linear thing. Then there's kind of a circle switch type of shot calling, in which the whole point of it is um, there's something called the circle in badminton, and the circle means if I'm gonna go in a circle, um, I can transition from front and back to side by switching positions. Now this is very important in doubles with left-handers and right-handers together, right? If you're in a left-hand team and right-hand team on the same team, when you do a lot of circle transitions to kind of focus on, oh, if I think he's gonna smash to my outside hand, I'm gonna do a circle transition. If he thinks I think he's gonna switch from a circle hand, I just cleared, I'm gonna do a circle transition. Alright? Because when I'm doing the circle transition and I clear to the left, I can kind of just right away know that if I did a circle transition and I was side to side, he smash, I clear, I'm front and back, I go to circle to the left and right, I just switch my outside hand and my inside hand. So that's another move that goes up there. Then that's a circle transition. Okay, it's a circle transition right there. So another type of move that is the linear transition, right? So I go here, I go back, here, back. It's very simple. I go to the right, I go back. Also, the circle transition for right-handers is also very complicated because you have to notice, because it's really difficult for two right-handers to kind of measure the difference between left and right. Right? What I mean by this is the left and right players, the symmetry is identical, right? When you have a left-hand player and a right-hand player, the symmetry is down the middle. So it's very easy to measure the symmetry. With a right-hander and a right-hander, you can't really measure the symmetry because, it's very difficult, right? So when you have a right-hander and right-hander, circular motion, actually a lot of the time, number one is for confusion. Number two is because when you want to get to that place, you have to actually, it's a lot of the time to play a smash to the left-hand court. Because if you do that type of transition and, because if you're side to side, right? If you're just side to side, you're gonna know to not hit to your very corner because you're already there, right? That's why you make a transition to front and back, and they think that they can have that corner. They're gonna notice, and you switch actually to the left and right. All of a sudden, you have control of the corner in a situation where your front and back is not working, right? Your front and back is not your front and back doesn't do anything. Your front and back, there is no front and back in terms of you're not actually staying in the front and back. It's a confusion tactic. I'm gonna stay in the front and back for a little bit, and there's another one. It's front and back, to side to front and back. So it's a linear thing. You switch back. So basically, it's a confusion tactic, and also it's a judgment tactic. If I see here, I go there, and I see that how they're moving a little bit, I can move back. So I think that's that. In terms of forward and back, there's like a lot of drop shot, call making. The drop shot call making is I drop, right? I drop, he clear. And as soon as I drop, he clear. Obviously I have the back, right? But the most important thing that we see in smashing is whether you want to have 1% at the back, just smash it constantly, or when do you switch the back person, right? And this is the call rise, right? You have to pull back slightly, and if it goes your way, then you go for all the way, and you smash with the front and back switching, right? You switch. It's also a circular thing. It's very useful for side to side right hand players, because when you do this switch, you kind of cover the left hand side, right? Because as you turn, you're literally moving that way already. And then they hit the left hand clear, and 等一下你上去，等一下你上去啊。So now it moves like if you do side to side, if you do if you right hand you do side to side, it goes back. There is a more it's easier to hit it with your forehand, because if you just do right hand back rear, if you just do like this, you have to go forward and then transition back to the back left hand. But if you move here and then you slowly, if you are here and you are, your person is here, okay, person here, then you if you move, you can move all the way back, and it's easy. So that's the transition. And then next is on the front and back is the short lift, right? Short lift is right. So the short lift, you have to know that in badminton there's something called rhythm, and when you have rhythm, it's if you have correct rhythm, it's very good for rhythm is help you shot making. Okay, but when you play front and back and they come and you smash and you're looking for the short lift, you know, sometimes you have this thing called a crowd defense. A crowd defense is when instead of defending equally on all parts of the court, crowd defense actually goes and focuses on one single part of the court by having two players be really close to each other. So when you have a crowd defense, this is when you initiate the crowd defense. It can be a very quick initiation. You can literally be standing at the front, and then right before they hit, you just move forwards to the back for the crowd defense. This is where you kind of have to think about speed and rhythm and how quick can I move from one stance to the other stance, how quick I can move from one version to the next version. And so you have this movement towards this crowd defense. As soon as you get the crowd defense, your partner rushes to the front and you smash, because you're moving backwards with a footwork that is very good for jumping. You have a very natural two-footed jump to this smash, and your partner, because if your partner just smashes, okay, he has to move forward to cover a part of the court. There is one specific part of the court that he has to cover, right? If he doesn't cover, it's like halfway between you two. That place of the court is very dangerous, no matter what. So he has to cover that, and then he has to stop and move, because smash is quick, right? Smash is quick. So this is why you sometimes want to go with the smash defense and go back and then boom. You know what I mean? So that is another type of call. Is the crowd defense call. You call for crowd defense. Obviously things that are very basic, like the switch from side to side to front and back. You go side to side, you move front and back, you switch back from side to side, move back, front and back, so on and so forth. So a lot of these things are kind of very obvious. So I think it's covered a bunch of different types of shot calling. There's more. I think there's a lot more that you guys can discover yourself. I do believe that I will be helping you. So eventually we're going to get through every single kind, and hopefully make a better game of badminton for everyone, because I'm just going to say right now, like, you guys obviously don't know a lot of badminton theory, even though it seems like you do, but really you don't know a lot of badminton theory. So that's why I'm here. I'm here to teach you the badminton theory and help you guys get better. And yeah, that's it.